Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this live coding session for the data storytelling track. My name is Angelo Christian. I'm data scientist at Hamoye. All right. Thank you all for those already on YouTube and here on Zoom. Okay, without which much of our time, I will just begin sharing my screen. So, topic we have today is data storytelling in pattern recognition. So, let me share my screen so we begin. All right, any minute from now, you see my screen. Can you just confirm if you can see my screen? I believe you can. All right, moving on. So, data storytelling in pattern recognition. So let me just give you a brief preamble before getting on the code. Data storytelling in pattern recognition refers to the practice of using data visualization and narrative techniques to communicate patterns, trends, and insights derived from data analysis. It involves transforming raw data into a compelling and coherent story that effectively conveys key findings. So basically, by employing data storytelling techniques, pattern recognition becomes more than just identifying and analyzing patterns. So it becomes a means to communicate and share the significance of those patterns, making them understandable and actionable for decision making. So that's just talk. Let's get down to the code. So what we'll be dealing on today, we'll be using a particular data set on cargo. It's an e-commerce data. As usual, I already have the code down. I'll just be explaining as I run the code. Let me just share this link on the chat. So, all right, then running the first line of code, that's importing our necessary libraries. Then, okay, I already downloaded this data set on my local machine. So it's an e-commerce data set, a 1-year e-commerce data set. Let me just view data. All right, so these are the variables in the data set. Comprises of, it's like a time series data, comprises of the order date, time, the gender, customer login type, product category, sales, the quantity, discount, and all that. So running a few analysis on it, checking the info. Then what we can also do is by analyzing the individual columns. That's what this code is doing, making a for loop to see the individual columns are their unique values and counts. So the other dates we have, these are unique values here. For the time column, this is what we have. So this for loop just shows you the unique values and the value count of the individual columns in the data set. So to just start on for what we have today, we'll be running some analysis on our data set. So if you notice from the data set, we have a product category column. This is an e-commerce data set, the products, the sales, and all. I can try to say, okay, I want to check the top 10 product categories of our data set. That's what this code will be doing. That the category can to check for the top 10 product categories and putting it in a bar plot. So from our data set, you see that we have the fashion product category had a higher value, that's in counts, more than the others. So the highest was the fashion. So this is just like a preamble analysis to understand my data. So I'll be asking some few questions as we go on, relating with the data to see how many products each product is doing, but you get to see it. So since the time series data, I'll be extracting relevant information from converting it into yeah, sorry about that. Had a little bit of pain. Let me just go back to share my screen. Okay. Okay, like as I was saying, I said I'll be extracting relevant information from the other date, which is the time series data. So I'm converting it into a date time column. And once you convert it into a date time column, you can extract the year, the month, and the day. So after doing that, we can check our data. We see the column and see that we have the column for the year, the month, and the day. I believe everyone can see my screen and hear me clearly. Please just confirm. Drop it in chat so I know I'm not talking to myself. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so moving on. I'm going to be analyzing the trends and patterns over time. Since we've already created the daytime column. Since I already created, okay, thank you, you can see it, can hear me. Since I already created a daytime column having the year, the month, and the day, what this code here is doing, I want to put, make a plot showing me the patterns, that's the trends of the phase over time. So that's by the year and the month with the phase. So let me just run this. So what this code is doing is showing the monthly phase trend patterns over the different months of the year. Mind you, this data set is just a 1 year phase data, that's phase spread across from a particular year, that's year 2018, from January to December. So with this particular plot, you see the trend of the monthly phase, the way it worked. From this, you can notice that there was a high spike in the month of May. The sales increased very well from the month of March here to the month of May, and had a little dip in the month of June. And the highest month where we had the sales was in the month of November here. So this is just like analyzing the trend and pattern over time in the data set. So with this particular code, and with this visual, you can understand the trend of sales. You know that sales kept on increasing from February down to May. It dipped a little bit, then increased again. Then the highest was at November, then a little decrease in December. So that's one analysis you can do to understand your data. Then another thing we can do what we call customer segmentation, analyzing customer attributes. In our data set, we have the gender column, the device type, which is the device they use in logging into the e-commerce website, the customer login type, and all that. So with this, we can just do a analysis of the customer attributes with that particular column. And we can see that from what I just did, what this code is doing is to show it to group the gender, the device type, customer login type, and do a customer segmentation. So we can see that the female customers, when they used a mobile and logged in with the first sign up, the amount was just 13. And with this, we see that those are logged in using the mobile device, and they were members, already signed up member of the e-commerce website. Still have the more gender. We had a higher number of those using the web instead of the mobile app, using the web app. So with this, we can segment your customer to see which device type they're using, logging in, and which are they guest member or a new member or old member of a channel relating to this particular data set. Then moving on, we have another one to do with sales and profits analysis. Since we have the products in our data set and the sales column, we can do a group by to check for the top 10 selling products from our data sets. If you notice, these are data sets here. From the product, we have product category and we have the products. So these are the products that was sold in this data set, and these are the sales. So to do a sales analysis, we can group by that to column to see our top 10 selling products. So from our data set, the top 10 selling products, t-shirt was the highest, made the highest sales with relating to the product and the sales. So t-shirt was the highest product sold. Then we can also do profits by category to check the product category and group by with the profits. That's to know which product category made more profit. So that's what this code will be doing from our data set. And you see that the product category was the auto and accessories. They had, the fashion had more profits in relation to the product category. The fashion product category made more profit. Okay, then this is just another trend analysis. That's a pattern you can recognize in your data set. Like I said, if I was too fast, let me go back. We started with the multi-stage trend. Then we did our customer segmentation using this particular data set and checked for the top 10 selling products. We did a group by with the sales. Then we did a products profit by product category. So we see that the fashion product category had more profit made. Okay, then another analysis we can do from this our data set is, before you can draw out any analysis or trends you want to make with your particular data, you need to understand your data first of all. So that is very important, understanding your data sets. So because I understood my different columns in my data set, that I can draw out different analysis. So now I want to be making a payment method analysis to check the payment method that the customers like using more. So that's what this code will be running. I'm checking the value count of my payment method column. So running this, you see that credit card had the highest, that the customers made payments using the credit cards the most, then non-defined was the least. So with this, you understand that your customers like using the credit card in making their payments. That's the payment method for this particular data set. Then we can also do the sales analysis by products. That checking the previous one we did was for product category. So this now will be for the products like we did before. The highest was the t-shirt. I just want to run this and put it in a visual so we understand better. So from this analysis, you can see that the t-shirt made more sales as top 10 selling products. The t-shirt made more sales. Then in the category number 10 was the bed sheet. So for this particular data set, if you want to analyze the trend, you see that t-shirt made more sales than the rest. Okay, moving on. Another analysis or another trend I can decide to analyze would be the average sales by product category. What I mean by average is that like the mean. To get this, you can group by the product category and the sales column. and look for the mean. So mean also means average. So that's what this particular code is doing here. So I'll see that the average sales by product category. Here we have fashion C was the highest, 169. That's the amount. This is the average sales by product category. Another analysis I can do would be, okay, before doing that, let me put it in a visual. So with this, you can see it in a visual. Before I continue, why I'm using this particular data set as the e-commerce data set, in your coursework, they provided a food and supply data set. That's what you use for doing you carry out your project and also doing your analysis in the coursework, that's the course materials. So I'm using this to show how you can do your pattern, how you can create patterns, recognize patterns in your data set, and draw out your analysis. So it's necessary you have good visuals in it and also create a data storytelling project reports. So what I'll be covering for this particular coding session will just be the codes and the visualizations. I won't be covering the data storytelling project part, that you are the one to do that, to handle that. After you're done with your coding and all, you have to write a report on how, and that's the analysis you've done, the report and all that. So let me just put that out now. So moving on, creating a box plot to also show my product category. This is another visual I can use. Sales distribution by product category. This is a box plot, and if you understand how the box plot visual works, you know that this 2N shows the range of your data. Then this box here is the interquartile range. Then this line inside the box shows your mean range. That's the average. So using this, there are different explanation you can get from this box plot visual. So I'll be dwelling much on that. So moving on, we can also use another visualization called the stacked bar chart to check for the product category, the gender, and the sales. That's what this code is doing here. So with this code, we can see that this is sales by product category and gender. With this, you can notice how your customers bought your products. So in this data set, you can see that the male gender made more sales with the male gender than the female for the fashion. That's surprising enough. Then for the auto and accessories, also the male gender, that they bought more of your products. Then for the home and furniture, more or less the same. So with this, you can understand how your customers, that's your customer segmentation, which of them which of your customers are buying your products more. So for this fashion category, the male gender made more, they bought more of your product than the female, surprising enough for the fashion category. Anyways, moving on. Now we'll be asking, trying to get more analysis from your data. So one we can work on will be, how does the date and time affect your sales? That's total sales by month, days of the week, or time. So with that, remember the particular data set is a time series data, that's an e-commerce data. So, and I've already created a separate date time column for the month, the year, and the day. So first of all, what I want to do, I have to answer this question: how does the date and time affect this? So I'll create a visual with my order dates and the month. I'll group it with the sales column and check for the sum. So this will be a monthly sales trend, just like the one we did previously. But this one is just showing the month for you. So just like the one we did previously, showing the monthly sales trend. With this, you notice that the month of, okay, with this, you notice that the month of December had more sales. in your data set. Then what we can do again, we can also check for the total sales by month and also total. This one was the total sales by the whole year. You can just check total sales by the month using this code. What I did, I'm reporting a calendar. There's a mode you can use in Python called calendar. What this would do is just to since in my data set it was just the month, the year, and the date. From the month, I can change it since it's represented in numbers. This calendar module will just represent it in the name of the month instead of these numbers. So that's what this import calendar is doing here. So running this code with this visual, you can see, just like I said before, the month of November had more sales in our data set. Then February was the least. So the total sales, this column is showing total sales and the X as it's showing the month. So in November, we made more sales, followed by the month of May, and the list was the month of February. So moving on, we can also extract the day of the week from the other dates and check the total sales by days of the week. First one we did was for the month, but now we can see how we made sales from the days of the week, putting it in a bar plot. So with this, okay, this is too big. Let me reduce the size to 8 by 6. So with this, we see that in days of the week, I think Tuesday was the day they made more sales than the others. The list should be Saturday. So with this, you can draw even more trends to get more trends in your data, from the yearly phase to the monthly phase and even to your daily phase. I can also do to hourly phase, which time of the day you made more sales compared to others. That's what we're doing in the next code, checking the daytime. Mind you, can only do this if your data set is a time series data and you have a date time column. That's when you can convert it to a date time column. All right, so running this particular code, wait for it to load. So you can see, I can also check the trends, total sales by hour of the day. You notice this 0 to 23 represents the hour of the day. So from this visualization, we notice that there was a decrease in sales from the first 2 hours of the day, let's say the early hours of the day, and it was stable, but there was a hike in the total sales you made from the 10th hours. Let's say this should be 10 a.m. and the highest was at 11 a.m. of the day. You made a higher sales in 11 a.m. Then your sales was stable from the hours of 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So with this, you can even understand more on how you make sales in your data. So these are trends and patterns you can get from your data set. So one thing you need to understand the data set you're working with, and that's the data you're working with. That's how you know how to analyze and understand the trends in your data. That's just it. So mind you, if we're working with another particular data set, we'll be doing a different analysis or a different visualization. So once you need to understand your data set, carry out few analysis before you can ask questions concerning your data. So moving on, another question we can see, let me just run this. You see that we had extra columns since we created the day of the week and the hour from our data set, because our data set we had the time column and the other date column. So from this time, since we converted it to a date time variable, this was the hour, this 10 is the hour, 56 is the minute, 33 is the seconds, then 2018 the year, the month, and the day. Okay, another analysis we can draw out from this particular data is from which product do I earn the most profit per unit? To answer this, you can do this by calculating the profit per unit for each product. That's the profit column divided by the quantity of sales you made. And also calculate the maximum profit per unit by doing a group by of your product and the product per unit that you calculated previously and checking for the max. After that, you can put it in bar chart to understand it better. Mind you, by just seeing the numbers, most of the stakeholders might not understand numbers like that. You just want to see it in a visual format so they understand better. Then after that, what this code will be doing, I'm going to find the product with the max profit per unit. Then I'll print it out. So let's just run it. So from our visualization, you can see that the Apple laptop was the product with the highest profit per unit. Mind you, let me go back. We said the question was from which product do I earn the most profit per unit? That's, for example, you have a product here, like in this data set, Apple laptop, divided by the quantity you sold. So which of them you are making the most profit per unit? If, for example, the quantity you had was, let's say 10, and is the Apple laptop divided by the quantity and the sales you make, you see which of them had the highest profit per unit. So from this particular data set, this visual, it was the Apple laptop followed by the higher product. So the product with the highest profit per unit was the Apple laptop. So since we already created a new column, which is the profit per unit, let me run this data set again. Scrolling, you see profit per unit column. So for the car media players products, the profit per unit was 46. Let's say this was represented in dollars because it's an American e-commerce website. So this was $46 profit per unit. For the car speakers, it was $112 profit per unit, so on and so forth. So another analysis we can run in our data set will be which product categories do I sell to whom? That's your gender distribution by category, product category, or by product. So if you remember the previous visualization we did, we noticed that in our fashion category, the male gender, you made more sales to the male gender than that of the female. So you can be asked, okay, which product categories do I sell to whom in your e-commerce platform? So you can also run the analysis by doing a group by of the product and the gender. I'll be putting it in a bar plot for this particular data set. So we can see that this is a bar plot of the product and the gender. That's the gender distribution by products, not product category, by products. So by products, we'll see that the highest here was surprisingly the casual shoes, and also the male gender bought more than the female. So you can decide to say, okay, since I have in my stock, I have casual shoes, I think I should stock more for the male casual shoes because you're making more sales in that category than that of the female. Then obviously for the Apple laptop, the male and the female gender both bought your products almost the same and others. So you can draw several analyses from this visualization to understand which products you have to stock more, which products you have to stock less, and which products do you think the female gender are buying more than the male gender and all that. So this is how you analyze the trends in your data. Then also you can check by the product category. The one we did previously was just for the product. So for the product category, just like we did previously, for the fashion, the male bought more of a product than the female, and also for the auto and accessories product category. Okay, moving on, since in our data set we have the different login types. So which login type do my customers prefer when shopping? Like in our data set, they have several login types. That is it a member? That's customer login type. Is it a member or a new member or a guest or a new sign up and all that? So we can analyze which login type do your customer prefer when shopping. Do they like creating new accounts? Do they like shopping as a guest, or do they like signing up so that they can track their what they bought or whatever? So with this, you can get it in the customer login type column in your data set and create a bar plot. So from this in our data set, you can see that most likes to log in as a member before they make purchase than the guests, which is very high. So then for new sign up in your data, you didn't have much of a new sign up. That's new members or even first sign up was low. So it was your pre-existing customers that made more purchase in this particular data set. Then there's another analysis you can draw out from your data. I can say, what devices do my customer use to reach me? Like I said, in the data set, we have a different devices. Yeah. Okay, I think that's covered. Mobile device or the web. So let me just go back to the code and understand what I'm trying to say. So with this, you can use device type column in the data set and put it in a bar plot. So this is just the customer device type distribution. And also you see that most of the customers like using the web app than the mobile app. So they like logging in and making purchases on the web than on the mobile using this particular data sets. So within your analysis report, you can say, okay, your customer notice that your customer like using the web app than the mobile app in making purchases. Then another question you can draw from your data can be, you want to determine the order priority related to gender, just like I said before. There is an order priority column in your data sets. So you do a cross tab with your gender, put them in a bar plot. So you know that order priority distribution by gender, you see that the order priority is medium. For example, they want to make a purchase. You see that the order and you want to order your product. So the order priority, most of them is medium, then the high, critical, and the low. So with this, you can draw several analyses and understand trend patterns in your data set. It's just basically you're running data analysis. That's just what data storytelling and pattern recognition is. You're recognizing patterns in your data sets. Mind you, it should be specific data. As you're working with an e-commerce data, which is the time series data, you can be working with a totally different data set, like the one in the cost work, which is the food supply and food production data. You can be working with house pricing data. You can be working with different types of data. So just for you to understand your data, then before you can draw out your different trends and do your analysis on your particular data set. So with that, we've come to the end of this session. To do a recap of what I did, basically, like I said, it was just an e-commerce data. I had to understand your data set first before I could do several analysis of my data. So mind you, this was just the code showing how you did your visualization and all that. What you still need to do will be a report writing. If I have to do the report writing now, I can start off by saying my monthly sales trend. I noticed I had higher sales, a spike from the month of April to May without my visualization. Then I had a higher sale in the month of November. Then I understand that the male gender bought more of the fashion products than the female. You can also say in the hour of 12 to 4 p.m., I had a stable amount of purchases or sales made. Then people didn't buy much of your product from the early hours of the day, but it started from 10 a.m., 11 a.m. So with all this, you can write to defend your report showing what you did. Mind you, what you're supposed to do in your course project is you notice the course project was written in a Wolfram language, you have to represent it in a Python, do your visualization and analysis in Python programming language. Then carry out your analysis and submit your report. So it must be showing your code and also your project reports. So I hope everybody has gotten a good understanding of today's coding session. If you have any questions, please just drop it in the chat. Any parts you didn't understand in what I did so far. Let me stop sharing my screen. If you have any questions, just drop it in the chat box. Okay, there's a question. Okay, please must we use no. That's why I said the course was written in Wolfram language. What you need to do is stated in the course material. Just represent those visuals in Python programming language. And it's not necessary that you create all the visualization that was done in the Wolfram. Just create them in a Python programming language, not that of Wolfram. So that's what you have to do in your project. Do your analysis, your trends. I think if you check out the resources of what you need to do, that's in the instructions, you should see the instructions there, what you need to, the trends you need to find. I thought some of them was specifically stated there. So make sure you carry out analysis in the specifics of what you are meant to do. You can do more, but make sure those, I think there are like 3 or 4 specifics there that you should analyze. That analyze the quartile range, that's interquartile range, the just check the resources, you know what I'm talking about, but it should be presented in Python, not in Wolfram. You have to submit your Jupyter notebook, that's your GitHub repository, having your Jupyter notebook, showing the outputs of your code and your visualizations, not just the code, showing the outputs of your code and your visualization, and also your reports. It can be in PDF or Word document, anyone you prefer. So that's what you need to do. If you just submit just the Jupyter notebook, you have the maximum grades and if you submit just the report without your code showing how you got the report or your analysis, you will be graded. So no. Are we to submit a notebook used for answering the quiz? No. What you are meant to submit is the project, which is the notebook showing your analysis and your visualization and your report. The quiz is different. Just the analysis you did. Yeah, exactly. Okay, thanks. Please, can I comment on hypothesis not so clear to me? What hypothesis are you referring to, Nathan? Could you please clarify your question? Is it the hypothesis related to what I just did or that of, okay, you said, can I not comment on hypothesis? Okay. You're talking, if I understand your question, you're referring to the hypothesis that's the one referred to in the coursework. Okay, if I'm to say anything about that, it means I'm already answering, giving the answers to the project I'm supposed to submit. So I don't think I can answer that. It's already there in your course material. The hypothesis done using a Wolfram. You can also get that in Python. But if you notice clearly in the instructions, it says there are lots of visualizations written there in Wolfram language. It is not necessary that you present every of the visuals or the analysis in Python because there are lots there. So just so that you represent well enough, but not everything. But in aspect of the hypothesis, if I explain it or give you the answer, that's if I'm giving the answers to what you're supposed to do. So it's there in the course material. Just try and find a way around it. Yes, I've answered the question, Nathan. Any other question before we call it today? Okay. So in the absence of no other question, okay. Well, I thank everybody for joining in today's session. I hope. Okay, one more question. All right. Please, what's your question? Asking one more about storytelling. What storytelling exactly? Please specify. Nita, can you please specify your question? Which, okay, should images used be labeled? Yeah, whatever one you want to use. If it's definitely should be labeled so you understand what your visualization is showing. If you notice the visuals I did, they were labeled and had titles and all that. So you can do as okay, figure one and so on. Okay. Whatever rocks your boat, even if you label it or not, so far in your reports, as you're explaining, let's say you're explaining the monthly sales trend, the visual should be shown in your reports so we understand what you are explaining. You cannot be explaining from the figure, the monthly sales trend, we discover that this and this, but the figure is not there. So you can label it as you want. Figure one, you can say from a monthly sales figure, anyhow you want to do it. So far it is written appropriately, so you should understand that. Do you understand my answer? Okay, good. Any more questions before we wrap it up? Any more questions before I wrap it up? You're welcome, Gloria. All right, thank you everyone for joining again. As usual, my name is Ajulo Christian. Do have a lovely day. See you next time.